Welcome, one and all. This is the Peace Dealer. This is definitely going to be one of the more magical weekly astrology horoscopes that we do. I hope y'all are feeling amazing. This is still a very profound Sagittarius season, bringing to light and to speed a whole lot. So, if you're ready, I see y'all in the live chat. Jules says we lit. I see a lot of yays. I see a lot of highs. If you're ready to get live, I want you to say, yeah. I want you to say, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're about to get live tonight. Let's pump up the volume and let's also pump up the turn upness. Because it's still Sagittarius season, y'all. If this was Capricorn season, there'd literally be zero antics. So this is like my last season to give you all these antics before I have to get super serious. Because Saturn's going to be in Capricorn. So let me get a yeah. Oh, yeah. Even if you're not live, you're hearing from over, yeah. Woo! All right, y'all. What's good? Thank y'all so much again for tuning in. Let's do this weekly peace report. All right. You know I had to be dramatic. At the end of the day, I still represent Gemini. Welcome to the Cosmic Filler Arc Conclusion. This is definitely, I say a conclusion because it's bringing into account, shout out to any accounting majors, it's bringing into account the past 7 years of your life. Really, we could almost even say 8 years. So let's go back to 2010. Look at me. Go back to 2009. Where were you December of 2009? November of 2009. This is when Saturn was in Libra, and your relationship dynamics interpersonally just showed you how much you suck at being in relationships. Saturn in Libra was supposed to teach you how much you suck at being in relationships, because this is when you also saw how much other people sucked. But we all, that's the one good thing that I love about Saturn. Saturn will show you where everyone has yet to learn. So no one can play the victim. No one can play the point the fingers game. Like, Saturn really breaks everything down. A lot of you got your expectations when it comes to relationships and who you are completely shattered. A lot of divorces, but some marriages too, which is the natural flow of life. But think back to 2009, December of 2009, which basically 2010, basically 2010. Okay. From 2010 until now, we stepped in to a cosmic filler arc. The Galactic Federation in the universe was like, damn, we need to write new material because everyone's karma is shifting. If we look back at that time, where was the North Node? The North Node was in Capricorn. Isn't that interesting? The North Node was in Capricorn at that time, and Neptune was finishing out of Aquarius, and Uranus was literally in Pisces. So the universe was like, damn, we don't have nearly enough material. We did have material, but Saturn switched. I mean, Neptune changed its mind. We need to switch up certain soul groups. So we need to write so much more material. And this is very symbolic in the sense that now the South Node is in Aquarius. So we started this filler arc when the North Node was in Capricorn, and we're resuming the main arc of our life when the South Node is going to be in Capricorn. Interesting. This message is going to make sense to certain of you way more than, remember, as a Gemini, I really am just a messenger. So the positive attribute of me spreading this message is that there's literally a 3 in 4 chance that the people who are receiving this message are on a higher spiritual level than me. Your sun is like Cancer or Pisces or in between. You feel me? So a whole lot of what I'm saying, I know it's going to seem to you that I have more knowledge than I may do, but know this message tonight is specifically for you. And you owe it to yourself to really keep in mind the ridiculous amount of growth that you've had. Congratulations, you just completed a full Naruto Shippuden time skip. And Naruto Shippuden is just the analogy that I'll be using, because there's so many other programs and shows that feature time skips, which are very analogous to huge growth spurts. And trust me when I say we're stepping out of the most ridiculous filler arc ever in existence. This is a part of a Saturn transit that completely mowed down a chapter. And Saturn finishing out of Sagittarius was a part of a 3-chapter transit while it went through Libra in 2010, and then Scorpio, and then Sagittarius. How many signs are in the Zodiac? There are 12. So there's deep significance every 3 signs that Saturn transits. I really want you to embrace this right now, because as you grow older, in order to really time events in your life, it's really good to look into, you know what I'm saying, the sun moving, because it gives you that now and in the moment view. But you have to put that in context with Saturn. Saturn is what lays out all the karma for you. So Saturn transiting Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius was a filler arc to prepare you to step back into the major timeline of your life. For those of you who may not be aware of what filler arcs are, let me use the analogy of Naruto, which pissed off a whole lot of Naruto fans, especially me, because I had no idea what filler was. So I thought that, you know what I'm saying, these were episodes I had to watch. Filler is a way of speaking of content that you place in between the main message of your content, just so you fill it up with space. In the case of mangakas like Naruto, sometimes the author isn't able to finish writing the story before the anime can flesh it out into life. Now listen to what I'm saying, because I'm going to break down how something as simple as this process is literally Aquarius and Leo. This is why I say Aquarius is the narrator and Leo is like the lead role. So you have mangaka, which is like, or in the case of like Harry Potter, you have the book and then you have the movie. So in the manga, the authors will actually write the story of the comic before the anime adaptation actually makes the animated version of the written comic. As such, the comics are usually way more ahead than the released anime. Sometimes, usually, in an effort to make sure the anime doesn't catch up, while the manga writers are writing new material, the anime will have to make filler episodes. So the filler episodes that you see animated, which the anime is Leo, this is our real life. The manga is Aquarius. This is the script being narrated by the Galactic Federation. The frequencies and codes that are going to map what we experience. Well, just like in real life, obviously, there is going to be certain transits over the course of 7 to 14 years where collective consciousness has to just literally be in limbo because they're building new friend. And while we're in limbo, you know what I'm saying? We're having to learn through that time skip so that when we come back, it's all online. So this is like a super grand shift. The thing about filler episodes is they may tie to the manga, but they're not. You will never see a filler episode in the main canon. So when we speak of something being canon, it's literally like stories in the Bible being canon. That was the whole Council of Nicaea and other such meetings subsequently from them was a huge deal because you had people being like, how are you going to take Maccabees out the Bible? That's not supposed to be filler. You know what I'm saying? Certain Dead Sea Scrolls, that those were meetings that decided what's canon. Canon is official to where, for example, if you see something in a filler episode, it's not canon. So you could see something happen in a filler episode, but it doesn't technically count because it's not canon. So if you see a main character like die in a filler episode, but then come back to life, it doesn't happen in canon, you can't necessarily say that that main character ever died. An apologist would say, nah, that happened in the filler. That doesn't count. So just take note of my terminology here, because I'm about to show you how this applies to your life and how you can go through certain experiences in your life that are not central to the main plot of your life. Some of you are still attached to filler characters in your life. If you noticed 2010 to 2017, there's a lot of people you would see for like a couple of weeks and then they're out your life. All right. Just like filler episodes where they have to manufacture plots, manufacture conflicts, and like set things up so that you're just filling up BS. It's really BS, but in some the people who do filler right, Bleach does filler horribly. People who do filler right, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, there were some good Bleach filler arcs. I'm not be a hater, but you know, this is just to indicate a necessary portion of life. Even though none of the stuff is in canon, these are similar to like retrograde seasons where you have to reevaluate while you create more, and then shadow periods. So I'm just gonna let you know again. 2010 to 2017, a lot of major things have occurred that will prepare you. So even though I'm making the analogy that it was really all filler, it's not necessarily like you didn't learn some key things to get you there. All right. So in the case of Naruto, the central canon of the arc, right, is about this ninja who's alienated because he later finds out he has a demon fox in his belly. He starts to learn the values of friendship when he meets people who actually kind of give a damn about him because he was rejected by his own village out of fear. And basically, you know, the climax of that first canon was one of his teammates who he has like a low-key crush on. Okay, he don't have a crush on, but you know, they have this comedic like chemistry. And that dude, Sasuke, leaves the village, and that's where that ends. They try and rescue Sasuke. They have one final showdown, which in your life is analogous to your masculine and feminine side, if we're going to just take it there. And then it ends. Because when the canon resumes, there's a time skip. Naruto, who left the village at the end after his best friend basically went rogue and he couldn't rescue his own best friend, comes back with his mentor like a good 3 or 4 years older. Like you could see the height change. He's not the young Naruto that he used to be. All right. And the canon resumes. And of course, this time skip utilizes, you don't really see episodes about the time skip, but before the canon resumed, in order to keep fans along, right? In order to keep content here, they still had to make extra episodes from after Sasuke ran away from the village. And this would now incorporate villains, heroes, people who aren't central to the plot of the actual story. So they don't necessarily even, they may not even necessarily like exist. You won't see them in the canon. 2010 to 2017, you have met certain people who've helped develop your character, but they're nowhere, they're not going to be a part of your life at all. All right. And this is important because once again, some of you are attached to filler characters. Your personal filler arc included things that your higher self just had to put you through. So you not only develop lessons, but they were with people who are not central to the plot of your life. This is the most important theme that I kind of want to like make sure you understand. All right. The reason why this is important is because during this filler arc, specifically for you, you met some key people. You didn't just meet filler people. You met like 85% of people over the past 7 years who are not central to the life of your plot. Like literally 2010 for me, the end of 2009 into 2010, my filler arc literally involved me moving to El Paso, Texas. I moved to El Paso, Texas. I left University of Maryland, transfer schools. From there till now I'm actually living my purpose. So interestingly enough, when I start this main arc again, it's me in Vegas being the peace dealer, as opposed to going through that filler arc and time skip where I had to go through what I go through. But 85% of the people I met during that time, just like 85% of the people you met during this time, are not central to the plot of your life at all. Only 15%. I'm talking about if there were literally like 50 people you met over 7 years or like 10, only 3. And that does not abide by the percentage I gave. That's like now 70%, 30%. But like only 3 people out of 10 that you've met for 7 years are central to the plot of your life. So what's going to happen is as you're stepping into the main arc, a whole lot of people, some of you may realize, oh my God, like there's certain people I don't even talk to anymore. And you have to understand they were literally just filler. Like they were never truly a part of your karma. And that's what this cosmic filler arc conclusion is going to bring you back into. All right. Anybody that you knew before 2009, they're part of your main arc. They're part of your anyone that you knew before 2009, which you probably took time, you probably weren't talking to them as much because you're going through this new arc. They're actually part of your main arc. And you're going to start to work with them more again. That's the most important thing. Like everyone before, basically from like 89, the last time Saturn was in Capricorn, to 2009. That's your main arc. So everything from 2010 to 2017 was just preparation to go back to that. So you'll have certain people that you met in the filler arc who may come into your main arc, but you're sacrificing that filler arc because it's totally done. And just like Angela Taylor said, spoilers, there's going to be a spoiler alert. So when Naruto came back to the village, he knew more techniques. He was stronger. He visibly grew. And I need you to think about, where were you December 2009? December 2009, I had literally just moved to El Paso. All right. It was my first Christmas there. And now that December 22nd, 2017, like, that life is literally, you know what I mean? I'm trying to make sure you guys know, because one of the tests here is, are you going to, there's maybe one or two people you met in that filler arc that are central to your main plot. And even they're going to reestablish themselves. Let me explain. Certain of these key members you met, one of the most important parts of this filler arc, this was when you came into the awareness of certain soulmates or twin flames or very key people in your life. This filler arc was a filler arc where you were allowed to, like, completely express each other's shadow and go into separation. The reason being, they're going to reestablish their presence in your life when this main arc continues. A lot of you don't know, like, you were supposed to beef with your twin flame. Your relationship wasn't even activated, or your soulmate. And this doesn't have to be someone new. This could be someone that you've always known your whole life. During the filler arc, you realize, oh snap, we share a special connection. And that was just meant to be experimented with. It was a time skip. You had to step into a whole nother timeline to deal with that. All right. Let me tell you how major this conclusion is. This is what I'm saying. It's filler. So it doesn't matter what happened with your soulmates during the filler arc. Once you go back to the main arc, that's why some of you are trying to walk away from your soulmates. And when I say soulmate, once again, I don't mean like happily ever after, we're going to be together for, I'm talking about your soulmate. Like, we incarnated to do some heavy spiritual soul work and to bring out the greatness in each other. The reason why you keep feeling like, no, this is going to resolve good, like there's something, that's because you're sensing the main arc. You're sensing that part of your main arc, and you've wanted it reasonably so to manifest now. But you can't manifest something substantial in a filler arc that's not central to the main plot of your life. So a lot of you are sensing connections with people that are going to establish 2018. All right. It's so much. Trust me, yo. It's so much so some of you could be on non-speaking terms with some of these people. Some of these people might have established other relationships. Once the main central theme of your plot begins, bam, like all the universe wanted you to do before you attached or placed an expectation was for you to know, hey, you see that person? That person's central to the plot in your life, but not yet. Just be patient. You still have to work on yourself. But when that plot comes in, whoosh, and trust me, the main arc does not ever reference the filler arc. So you're going to have certain people come back into your life as if nothing ever happened. As if, what are you talking about? We have more important things, because Saturn's going to go into Capricorn, and the ambition and your karmas and missions are going to be focused. So if you're focusing on filler arc stuff, then you're just clearly like stuck in the past. This might be hard for some of you to embrace. Like, certain people are going to come back into your life, and not in a the Mercury retrograde is going to bring it in, but you're going to trust me. Some of you, like back in Libra season, when we had that Libra season square Saturn in Capricorn, when we had that Libra season this year square Pluto in Capricorn, some of you completely ended it with certain people. You're like, nope, it's over for good. It's done. Screw you. Even though you still feel a connection to them and you're wondering why, they're going to come back like bloop. Like, and now there's going to be purpose. It's not that they're just coming back. They're reestablishing themselves. So anyone that you've known in your life before 2009 is not going to reestablish themselves. They're just going to maintain greater presence in your life, and you're going to pick up where you left off. Because just like you, they had to go through their filler arc. This is where I was saying Saturn taught us where we all had to reevaluate, because Saturn told the universe, yo, humanity is not ready for this new filler arc. And humanity is not ready for the main arc, the next part of this main arc where we're all psychically connected. Because what happened during that time, Neptune was in Aquarius and Uranus was in Pisces. During that time, we were all just beginning to be aware of how much greater connected we are. And now that Neptune is in Pisces and Uranus is actually in Aries, now we're ready to start this main arc where we're manifesting physically our intent, and our desire is making stuff happen like this. We were not ready for that at all. Saturn was like, no, we can't. We need some. This is important. This is now important because this filler arc wasn't really supposed to happen, and that's why many of you just felt torn. It's like, you're supposed to do certain things in your life and connect to certain people, but then you're still blocked. This filler arc really wasn't supposed to happen. Saturn put, and just think about a Capricorn who has like less than 5 minutes to make an executive decision, and they're like, nope, they're not ready. Like, Saturn pulled the #1 G boss move, and it dedicated that whole chapter into a filler arc. So just keep that in mind. Now, once again, there's a whole bunch of people. This is the cosmic filler arc conclusion, where it's Sagittarius season, and we're starting this week off with a 3rd quarter square in Virgo. So this square immutable signs means there's change, and this transition is ending the filler arc that we started in 2010, and it's going to prepare you to move forward. As such, every single person who is meant to be in your main arc, all right, now, once again, anyone that you've known before 2009, they're going to meet you across the doorway. They're going to come to you, right? They don't have to reestablish themselves because they already established themselves as a part of the main chapter of your life. Now, I'm talking about very few. For example, there were so many filler episodes in Naruto. The six tails Jinchuriki, who blew the bubbles, he was introduced in a filler episode. However, because he was actually main to the central plot and didn't come back till later, he had to be reestablished. They had to go back to that flashback and reestablish him. So Kiba never had to be reestablished. Kiba was in the main canon. See where I'm getting at with this? So people who you knew before 2009, they're not going to be reestablished. They're just going to come back to your life like, hey, let's catch up. You're going to be catching up with a lot of people. People from 2010 to 2017 that are going to be central to the main plot of your life, this is the week where you're going to have a lot of flashbacks this week, okay? Anime style flashbacks too. The plot's about to drop for you, my friends. This week is the week when the plot drops, and now you're ready to move forward with it. Because the very few people, and this was the filler arc where you met your soulmate. This is, by now, you know who your important soulmates are, okay? So, once again, if on average, if you met 10 people, 7 of them are literally useless to your life. They're still going to try and talk to you. So keep this in mind. They're eventually going to move on their main plot, but life is not like extreme and linear. We have gray areas, and we kind of still have to merge as we merge off. So some of you may be dealing with people this week that you need to let go of. This is like, if you know someone is not in the central plot of your life, what you're ambitious about manifesting right now, it's because they're not meant to be. They were just a filler character who was meant to just take up space in your life so that now things can be moved back together. And I know that kind of seems very detached to say, but just think about Aquarius. Like, it's the most, it can see things in patterns like this. All right. So worry not. Once again, when I say soulmate, I don't necessarily mean like your lover. I'm not talking about your lover. Not everyone is blessed to the point where their soulmate is their lover. I mean someone key. Like, every single one has a soulmate in their life, whether it's a friend, a lover, a spouse, a teacher, that you met this filler arc. I'll be right back. Everyone has that soulmate, and because of the numerology of accounts, there's four soulmates. Okay, but for you, two major ones. So this is not going to be the same for everyone. You may find in your case there's one less or a couple more, but on average, everyone over the last 7 years has been introduced to four soulmates. Okay, two of them are from the main timeline. Two of them are from the main timeline. Two of them are from the filler arc, 2010 to 2017. You've been introduced to two soulmates. One was introduced from 2010 to 2014, and the other was introduced from 2014 till now. Okay, these two soulmates are going to be reestablished to the main plot. The other two soulmates were in your life before, but you realize the deeper significant connection. So those two aren't going to be reestablished. They're just going to come back. And this is where I'm saying soulmates. All right, soulmates, as in like these four people one could be your sister, one could be your friend, one could be a potential lover. Like, do not analogize soulmate with romance. That's the one thing that the spiritual community has done to kind of screw things up. When you say soulmate and even twin flame, you are not speaking of a lover. The ideal, people have syncretized those two. So it's like, it's hard to differentiate. But when you're talking about soulmate, we're just talking about a soulmate, like a soul connection, okay? Where you feel the love, but it's not based off romance. That's a later decision. So these two are going to be reestablished. This is this week and next week. Those two are going to be reestablished to where any differences that you've had will be patched up, because now they're going to finally be in the central core, and you're going to know in what context they are going to be in the central core in their life. Shoot, one of the soulmates might establish themselves as an enemy that you have to patch up. Maybe that's part of them. Maybe the first debut of the central plot of your life is a primary antagonist comes, and it's one of your soulmates that the first part of that main plot, you have to actually come to a resolution. Whereas for others of you, you know what I'm saying, you might resolve this really quick. This week is going to really change up a whole lot. And if you think about the 10th house aspect that Virgo is making to Sagittarius, you're gaining critical analysis of and the needed details to gain a greater awareness of what all this means. So the moon is going to move into Libra, and this is when everyone's going to come together, because it's the 11th house of this Sagittarius energy. All right. Wingstar said soulmate equals final boss. That's not far from the truth. That's very accurate. Saturn as well. This cosmic filler arc did have its own cosmic filler arc final boss, but it's nothing compared to the main arc final boss. Okay, this is like a sub boss. The main arc final boss is like Madara, just like one person whooping thousands, and you have to be ready. You have to be one of the main characters who actually hits Madara and pushes him back, and not one of the filler characters who just gets slaughtered, if that makes sense to some of you. All right. This week is going to reintegrate you back into what you need to focus solely on and where things are headed in your life. As such, this cosmic filler arc conclusion will be one of the most clarity driven weeks that we've had in a while. Not because it's going to be the one where you get the most clarity, but it's the one that's going to put things in the most perspective. All right. You are stepping out of a time skip this week. This is the week where Naruto goes to the village gates and opens the door, and it's like, I'm back home. Damn, I'm back in the village. I got Jiraiya with me. My swag has upgraded. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing the old ninja clothes I used to wear. I see life a bit more differently. And you know your boy got some more dope jutsu. So it's a wrap. Okay? Before the time skip, I didn't know astrology. I didn't even know who I was. Now that I'm coming out this time skip, I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to roll. And I'm ready to take things more seriously than I've ever taken them. And I hope you are too. Okay? Venus is going to be in Sagittarius this whole time. And that's the key to everything. The light bearer wants us to understand that love is what you make it, because the creation matrix of the heart, that is the source of the divine intelligence you possess, will take what you truly believe about yourself and motivate you with that exuberance and passion. That's the true reason why Sagittarius is always going to vibrate in that energy, because they're tapped in to the full joy and meaning of life, which is love. And they express this all around them. That's why you can be around one and you just want to kiss them or just do naughty things to them, because they emit those vibrations. And Venus is encouraging you to do this so that you can have necessary passion and fire moving forward. The love language that Venus speaks in Sagittarius is the language of freedom. All right. A lot of people say that Scorpios are possessive and Capricorns could be too rigid. Well, if they have their Venus in Sagittarius, they're actually one of the more free. They're actually not that possessive at all. They love freedom. A Venus in Sagittarius wants to know their partner is free. If they found out that they were being too possessive of their partner, it would hurt their heart. And this is the energy that you're gaining to speak your truth with freedom, because we sowed these seeds when it was in Gemini and we were speaking truth from our hearts. Make sure you join me tomorrow as I uncover the language of love in what will be one of my best webinars ever to date. Especially because as a Taurus rising, my chart is ruled by Venus. Some people say that Taurus is ruled by the Earth, which I totally agree with, and even some Vega, but Venus definitely has connections with Taurus. So I may not always show it, but I know how to understand Venus, especially once I'm in my 30s. My understanding will be so much better, but this will easily be one of my best webinars ever. And it's one that you want to join, because it's not a webinar about a transiting planet. It's about really understanding your Venus and about learning how to engage with others' Venuses. We incorrectly look at Venus as love. And Venus is definitely an expression of love. But for those of you who seek truth, for those of you who really want a real understanding of what love truly is, you have to look at Leo. You don't even look at a luminary. If you want to look at love, you have to look at Leo. And then subsequently the sun. Okay? Like whenever I do a love reading, I'm going to look at your Venus, but I'm going to look at what aspect it makes to Leo. You get me? And the fixed signs. Love is the fixed signs of the zodiac and all those different octaves, but it gains its source centrally at Leo and the sun. So when we look at Venus and Mars are actually two different polarities of sex. That's why Venus and Mars, in a lot of ways, could be soulmates or twin flames of each other, as Mars is the desire. Mars is the masculine expression of desire. And then Venus is the feminine expression of desire. It's more accurate to say that Venus rules pleasure than it rules love. So wherever Venus is in your chart, it's what pleases you. This is why I can get along with Venus in Capricorns. My Venus is in Taurus. So we're going to listen to music that's both pleasing to each other. As opposed to someone whose Venus is in Aries, I like more smooth soul hip hop. They're going to want to play some amp stuff, and we have to learn to compromise. It's not even necessarily that it's bad, but if you didn't have knowledge of where your Venuses are, you may not know where to compromise. This is what makes this webinar one of the most important, because understanding where Venus is in your chart will let you know your personal love language. Just knowing what someone else's Venus or love language is will let you know how you can communicate with someone else's love language, but personally, how to understand your personal love language more. So we're going to go into the mythology of Venus, but more importantly, its significance in the zodiac chart. The link is in the description box below. Being that Venus is in Sagittarius now, in the webinar, we're also going to speak on what the Venus transits signify and how they influence love for you. But once again, more in the sense of romance and pleasure. Especially also considering Venus really more will help you indicate that bankroll, what you can add pleasure to manifest more, where Mars is the desire that helps you get out and allow yourself with internal force to gain it. So really think, I'm going to tell you one thing before I go back to Venus. Really think the ancient ruler of Mars is Scorpio. Scorpio is very wise to the point where a lot of you have learned Mars is Aryan so that Mars goes out and gets it. And that's the external representation. But the true form of Mars is Scorpio. And Venus in Taurus makes that the opposition, right? Did you notice? Venus and Mars truly oppose each other. The feminine expression of it in Taurus and the feminine expression of Mars in Scorpio. Then you have the masculine expression of Mars in Aries and the feminine expression of Venus, the masculine expression of Venus in Libra. So you got that opposition going here, because the way to truly harness Mars, and now that it's in Scorpio, if you stay tuned, I'm going to teach you a technique that you could use to facilitate greater manifestation. All Scorpios get this. This is why they have subtle manipulation, or let's say seduction over people. If you just keep desiring what you desire, if, in other words, now that Mars is in Scorpio, evoke your desire and evoke sexual desire too. What really gets you to feeling deep and dark and deeply sexual in a gratifying way? You are now evoking the vibration of desire. Okay. And when you evoke this vibration of desire and just focus on it, it's an internal, not manipulation, but it's an internal practice to where you're letting that feeling of desire just wave. And this is how, just by focusing on that desire, most alchemists draw in energy and then they focus on their desire until it manifests and they don't have to do anything. I did this on accident. I didn't even know I was doing this. And then I also hacked and talked to my Cancer sister, because if you talk to Sun and Cancers, they can also facilitate the manifestation of dreams. But I was desiring a cheeseburger sandwich. I didn't know why. I was like, damn, I really want a cheeseburger. And I was really focusing on that mug. And then my mother came back home with a cheeseburger sandwich. I didn't even expect her. See, expectations. I didn't even expect that. It just happened. So that's what kind of low-key taught me the power of desire. And a lot of misinformation teaches you to give away your desire, to project your desire, so that other entities can take that, as opposed to keeping and drawing in your energy, protecting it over a field, and just desiring it and keeping that energy. So what does Scorpio do? What is one thing about Scorpio and Venus? They're magnetic. As you focus on your desire, it magnetizes what you want. Okay, that's a little Scorpio secret. So for those of you who are interested in that ritual, stay tuned. After I draw the cards for the zodiac signs and before the super chat, we're going to do a Mars and Scorpio desire ritual that will also keep in tandem with the breathing technique, and it's going to really help for manifestation, and it's going to really help you conclude and adjust with this arc. But once again, just like Mars is desire, Venus is pleasure. There's a sexual element to Venus that I feel goes undetected, because we like to, there's this like Madonna whore complex that we do with women. We like to see some woman as either like totally pure and totally clean versus women who are totally dirty, as if there's no in between or gray area. All right. And we've kind of made Venus look to be like this divine goddess of love who helps you with relationships. This Venus webinar is going to teach you Venus is less about relationships and more about the pleasure you feel when someone puts their hand on your inner thigh and starts rubbing it. That's not Mars. You would think such Martian energy is sexual. That's Venus. Venus is going to lightly caress your inner thigh and slowly move up so you slowly get more aroused. That's all Venus, baby. All right. If you want divine unions, if you want relationships, that's Juno. Okay. So once again, this webinar is very worth it, as we'll clear up certain misconceptions. Sensuality, as such, you'll see when Venus speaks the language of Earth, versus when Venus is in a water sign, the love language Venus is going to speak is deeply intuitive and subtly emotional, to where if you can't engage their heart and if you can't speak to them on a soul level, you're not going to speak the language of that Venus. And now when it looks to gaining pleasure, you want to talk to someone's Venus, you want to engage their soul. Like when I inevitably do like a relationship webinar at an advanced level, or how to get the guy or girl, because I'm going to do a course like that, I'm going to let you know you don't just look to one planet to see if you can be in a relationship with them. You have to engage someone's heart. You have to engage their soul. You have to align with their ambitions. Actually, believe it or not, it doesn't matter how much compatibility you have with someone. If your Saturns don't align and your ambitions crosswire, it's never going to work, even if you have the strongest sexual attraction to them. So I'm going to teach you with this webinar to look less at Venus and Mars, for relationships and more of it for sexual freedom, all right, and personal pleasure. If you have, we're going to talk about aspects. If you have Venus opposite Pluto, that means you can learn to be a master of sexual tension and you can gain extreme pleasure. But you could also fall into obsession because of that extreme pleasure you gain just from speaking your Venus. All right. So we'll take it normally challenging aspects and show you better ways to look at it. We'll also go over synastry, which will be a hot topic. You know, if someone has their Venus on your moon, that means they love your soul. If you, wherever Venus is on a personal planet, that's the part where they love the most about you. That's the part where, and when I say love, I mean more pleasure. The moon person will feel that love, right? But that's the most pleasing part about someone to you, especially if it's on Lilith. We might talk about that as well. And we'll speak on harsh aspects like oppositions or squares. Okay. So keep that in mind. This is the first part of the 3-part webinar where I go over Venus and then Mars. You can save 20 to 40% on selected services I have for December. So definitely check the link down there. I totally recommend the double time readings. And yeah, hit me up. We're going to be live tomorrow. We'll also do a Venus ritual. So we're going to do a Mars ritual tonight, but it's not an official Mars ritual. This is more so or less a Mars and Scorpio ritual tonight. If you're live with me tomorrow when we do the Venus ritual, we're going to activate. We're going to do something special and sacred to activate your personal Venus. All right. So you can look at Venus as your heart. You can look at Venus as like your spiritual heart. So that's where the love comes from in a certain sense. I'm going to uncover important dynamics. A lot of people think that Sagittariuses or Geminis are unfaithful. But I'll tell you, if someone's Venus is in the earth sign, they could be faithful. Their heart, even though their mind might want to stray, their heart is going to not allow them to feel pleasure by doing so. So it really helps you know where each E is. Okay. Once again, like I've been saying, this week is going to conclude a very important part of your understanding of how life has shifted for you. Okay. Really make sure that you don't take personal anything that you've gone through. This is going to be really hard for some of you to embrace because some of you went through the most effed up stuff that you to this day can't tell anyone about. And this has created resentment in your heart. Okay, Saturn and Scorpio birthed resentment in a lot of people's heart. 2014 and then 2015, there's certain things that you're not getting understood for, and that energy isn't releasing, and so it's just festering negativity. And so you're not going to like it when I tell you that everything you went through this cosmic filler art, you were supposed to go through so that it can help you get ready for now. Soul groups are going to reestablish. There's certain members of your soul group that you've met at the tail end of this filler arc because they're starting to step back into their timeline. Okay. Shout out to Miko. Miko Mero is one of the people that I met personally during this filler arc. She was actually ironically one of the first person to tell me about like timeline shiftings before I even knew what timeline shiftings were, but she an Aquarius moon Gemini, so they know everything. It's really awesome. Like, whereas I lived in El Paso, she was in New Mexico. So that's one of the few people I'm going to walk into this main arc with. And I'm using myself as an example because one thing during this cosmic filler arc that I was able to connect with Miko about was that we were one of the only few people who could talk about this spiritual energy about. So if some of you are wondering who out of the few are going to walk to you in the main arc, you'll know. When I say out of 10, there's only 3. Out of 10 people, there's probably only 3 people you knew who you can really open up about spiritual stuff. You guys were meant to meet so that you could touch base, because if you didn't meet, you would just go crazy. Because this cosmic filler arc took you a little bit away of the main aspect of your life. Some of you had to go away from this hardcore theme of your life because you had to build new skills. All right. So really keep that in mind. Ooh, I just felt an energy blast. Which one of you guys just blasted me with energy right now? Because I don't know how to feel about that. It's not like it was bad either. It's just like whoosh, translucence. But anyway, yeah. Oh, my bad. I need to address this question. Normally, I don't address questions like this. Kamal asked, did I find my new girlfriend? First of all, I just want to, oh, thank you, Malika. That makes sense. First of all, I just want to reiterate, I'm single. I think certain people might have felt that when I was talking about a soulmate I have, you know what I'm saying? I'm like Brienne, I have imaginary bays. Like I'm single, I'm not talking to anybody. I think certain people thought that I was with certain people. No, I'm ugly and don't nobody want my ass. So I'm single. I'm happy. I'm loving it. It's all good. I'm currently talking to nobody. Like I'm just so focused. Maybe in the main transit, I just broke up with my imaginary bae. And ever since 2010, like I had a very deep relationship with my imaginary bae. I have my Venus in the 12th went totally, shut up, Astro Dim. Shh. My Venus in the 12th went totally crazy. But I just broke up with my imaginary bae, so I'm totally single. Like I was curving real life woman so that I can be fake. This is how crazy I was. I was curving real life woman so that I could develop my relationship with my imaginary bae. And now Saturn just got out of my 7th. So I realized I can't, this is just a bit psychotic and pathological. Even though I like that kind of thing, I just can't step into maturity with this. So I'm truly single. Like I don't have a ghost girlfriend anymore who's just in my imagination. And yeah, so keep that in mind. I say this too because that's just an illustration of how certain I'm not the only one. You know what I'm saying? I use myself as an example because my first house, my son is in the first house, so I kind of have to give you that awareness. And you know, you can kind of take that message and apply it to where it happened in your life. But yeah, this is going to be a quick week. Remember, I said once the moon was in Gemini, things are going to move quick because all the delay you went through. I'm going to say one more story here before I go into the cards. But all the delay, I'm going to go into the Peacemobile. But all the delay that you went through, all right, had much to do with Saturn that was in Sagittarius. But recently, the Mercury slowed things down because it went station and then it was near Saturn. So you might have found a lot of delay. And that delay is now gone because Mercury is 26 degrees. It's away from the galactic center, moving away, and it's going to go closer to Venus. So things are going to move really fast this week. It's going to be like blah, blah, blah. Karmic soulmates are going to reestablish themselves. I'm talking like 2 to 3. Some of you could be 4 to 5. Others of you could be like 0 to 1 because you're true loners and you're just solely focused. And whoever gets reestablished this week, you must put differences aside. In most cases, these are going to be with people who you probably beefed with unnecessarily. Was the beef supposed to happen? No. But certain facets of either one or both of your parts with your ego kind of cause this, and you have to put differences aside. The moon's going to be in Libra, which is going to establish this balance and peacemaking. Okay, because when we have that balsamic phase, when that moon in Scorpio, It's the end of the filler arc. And it's so symbolic because I personally feel, even though the show says Naruto's a Libra, I personally feel Naruto is the epitome of a Sagittarius. Like Naruto is if you ever want to understand the zodiac sign Sagittarius, Naruto and Naruto Shippuden is so Sagittarius. Even the plot line makes no sense sometimes. The way Sagittarius tells stories. So like everything about that show is Sagittarius. Once we get to that new moon in Sagittarius, you're stepping into the gates of Konoha after the time skip, and it's like I'm back, baby. It's time to go back to this plot. It's time to step forward. You're gonna feel that, and that's the intention you're gonna make. Like you're gonna take that breath, like, okay, this is so exciting. I've been saying this kind of normally, but this is going to be one of the most exciting weeks. But not necessarily in a, but in a wow. Like you're really going to make some hardcore realizations about how you shifted and grown, as you will get a sense of the major context being returned to your life. And it's just going to be so gratifying for those of you who've been wanting that clarity. When you have this much energy in Sagittarius, it shows you the light in ways that uncover the meaning. All right. So, yeah, this is definitely awesome. We're going to hop into the Peace Mobile right now. Vroom. I need to get some kind of car starting noise. Damn it. So before we hop into Peace Dealer, we're going to hop into the Peace Mobile. Tabs on tabs on tabs. So once again, we have the moon in Virgo starting the week off, gaining relevant, detailed facts about how we are to feel. For those of you who have done the spiritual work and put in your fishtard manifestation, it's fully manifesting, as the moon in Gemini to Virgo last week was a harvesting of the meaning you sowed. And trust me, guys, it's okay if you still don't even, some of you went through this transit and you don't even know what it is you manifested. That's cool. When this stuff like this happens, it's not you're not always going to be aware of it. Why? Your sun might be in the 12th house to this transit. You know what I'm saying? What brings us awareness is your sun sign. So not everyone's going to be aware of the harvest that happens in every lunar cycle. Sometimes if you're a Gemini, you might be more aware of a lunar cycle harvest during your own season, versus Sagittarius that might have been very aware of it. So personally to you, and we all have different rising signs, just know that now that this harvest is over, the next week moving forward is cleaning the crop so that by the time we're at the end of the week, we're planting new seeds. The new seeds we plant here will move around and come into completion. Moon in Gemini and Cancer, because this will be the full moon. Keep that in mind as we reap and then come into new seeds here. This is important to mention because last year, it wasn't until recently when the sun went through this period that we're having full moons before we have new moons. It's very subtle. What happened before is we would have new moons at the beginning degree, and then we would have full moons at the later degrees. But what's happening is we're having full moons initially, and we're having new moons. This is going to shift again, and we're going to have like new moons first. But this is just kind of speaking of us laying the seeds at the very end instead of the very beginning, which I think is really interesting. So once the moon shifts into Libra, which you want to keep in mind tomorrow because you're going to start to experience this more during the direct squares. You gaining critical awareness of what's not only shifting, but what's coming into form to get ready for this main central plot. The moon will be in Libra, okay? This is where, with the sextile to your north node, to this energy, while squaring here, important characters are being reestablished in your life. You're starting to begin the release of unidentifying with certain filler characters. And you have a choice to make where not all of this is left up to fate. There are going to be certain people that you can choose whether to bring with you into the central plot of your life. But you can't bring everyone because not everyone was meant to. End noun, of course, once we go to that balsamic phase, this opposition is going to be very gnarly. Once we go to that balsamic phase, this is going to be intense. And the Mars and Scorpio ritual I give you, you'll start to see greater manifestation of. Some of you do this naturally, as we'll get into. But yeah, this balsamic phase is your opportunity to not only tap into the current state of your supernatural manifestation. This is where you'll feel into your power very much so. But it's going to really be where you simultaneously shed forever that whole filler or arc awareness. And as you step into the light at the end of the week, blam, baby. Sunday will be this new moon, and it's going to be at 26 degrees. 26 degrees is a decision. All right. You're having to passionately balance what you feel about the meaning of your life. And you have an important decision to make while Saturn's 29 degrees. And that decision is, do you believe in your vision? I so mean that. When Naruto came back out of that time skip and he walked, this is when Naruto is walking through those gates. All right. He's not only walking through those gates, like he's at the very door of the gate. The door of the gate is Capricorn right here, back in the village, right? He's at the door of the gate where the community is here. He just went back on a time skip adventure, right? And he has to remind himself the promise he made way before he's going to become Hokage. He's back at the village that he took a 2 or 3 year hiatus from, and he's still now you're making the decision. Are you going to become Hokage? Are you going to achieve your wildest dream or not? That's the decision, because every action you take from here on out is believing in that or not. And that's one of the most important things I could really illustrate to you profoundly, because it's just so pivotal when you keep in mind how much you may or may not necessarily still be discounting weird elements of something that could only happen to you. All right. Do you believe in your wildest dreams? Because when Naruto walked through that door, he didn't instantly achieve it. This dude went through hell. We're going to have to go through hell because Pluto's in Capricorn. Saturn and Jupiter have to pass that. And it's not going to be easy, but it was the most rewarding. And after that, Naruto not only became Hokage, but he brought out the greatness of his power. All right. Are you ready to walk through that gateway and show your, because everything, once we move back into the main plot, you're going to literally be applying yourself in the most serious of ways. And you're going to be put in situations that bring out the greatest of you. And this may be some of the most challenging situations ever. And you need that passion of Sagittarius to make you passionate about why. Sag is the why I'm doing this, so that when you go through hell, when you go through those challenges, you remember, I'm going to be Hokage. I'm going to be the best self ever. This is nothing. There's something so psychologically important in establishing this, because it could be so subtle when you feel your conscious grasp whisking away and you give up on something that you're destined to succeed in. Take this week to remind yourself, why is it that you wake up in the morning? And some of you don't have that reason. You may very well get this reason this week. And you will, if you really sit down and reevaluate. Ask spirit to help you. All right. By now, you should have a more open awareness of the fact that the universe is rooting for you. The universe actively helps you. And when you get out your mind, when you get out your feelings, and when you come into your heart, you remember that love is the law and it's what connects us, so that we can all cooperate while still being 100% unique and different. Okay. Once again, fully embrace the awareness. Like, some of you are going to reconnect with very important soulmates. Some of you are going to have that romantic twin flame soulmate reunion and connection too. This person doesn't have to just suddenly come back in your life. You could just resolve some BS that you had with somebody, or misunderstandings that the universe kept you away from because you couldn't connect early. Like, what happened for a lot of you, some of your spirit guides had to make sure you never met somebody, because if you started, your energies accelerate and it just be like and your spirit guides were fighting long and hard to make sure you both had reasons why you couldn't get together. All right. So that it would happen at this time when the arc begins. Let me give you an example. Some of you are connected to others, and not even just like beings, like physical structures. When the whole last few semesters that I had, all right, I was in a position where I had to re-enroll. There were 3 semesters I was enrolled in college for business, and I really felt spiritually attacked. At the time, I really didn't, you know what I'm saying? I really didn't necessarily know what the hell to like feel about it. At the time, I just felt like I was just being really lazy, and I wasn't focusing enough on getting to class. But there was visibly a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Just to like finish certain things. It was like a block. It was legit a block. Okay. And for 3 semesters in a row, I'm telling you this story because some of you really need to take this and apply it to a situation you went into. I literally had to drop 3 semesters in a row, to where when I wanted to apply for the next semester, which guess what? The next semester is not in the filler arc. So get this. I had to re-enroll because the drop didn't register as me actually being in a class. So I had to re-enroll. And because I had to re-enroll, I had to go to counseling. And I was calling them like, can I not go to counseling? Because I've already done the class. But they're like, nah, you have to go to counseling anyway. So anyway, I go to counseling. And the teacher's like, hey, I don't think you're going to be able to do business again because you dropped too many courses. But I look at your history, I'm looking at your transcript, and I see you used to do communications before you switched to business. I don't think you know, Michael, but You dropping all those classes was a blessing in disguise, because the business course you wanted to take, you would have to take at least 60 credits. Why don't you take this communications class? Because within 30 or so credits, you're done. And not only, so what did that tell me? Because going through this, I physically felt blocked. Like anytime I tried to do anything school related, it's like it didn't work. And this is the universe delaying stuff. Like, you weren't meant to do certain things because it wasn't your time. And now I'm going to go back into this main arc doing the degree that I'm meant to do. I feel so aligned now. And not only that, I'm barely going to be there. Significant reduction. It's like my karmic path, instead of doing what I wasn't supposed to do longer, now I'm doing something for a much shorter amount of time that's more aligned with what I do. I'm not the only one this happened to. So trust me, Saturn and Sag, I was feeling so horrible. Like, at the same time, stuff that I was supposed to do, my work was getting a lot better. I was focusing a lot more on this than that because it wasn't for me at the time. And I could have let myself think that I failed when it wasn't, not only was it not supposed to happen, even me dropping was positive, because I was actually still in the university system and I still got to pay, tax with that. But regardless, now, because of the timing, there's certain people that I'm supposed to meet that I wouldn't have met. If I had done the right major, all that 3 semester, I would have been done. There's someone I'm supposed to meet that I wouldn't have met. And I only know that because there's certain people who had to switch what they were doing so that they could also be delayed. This is what I mean, where I'm not the only one who's been delayed. And there's certain things orchestrating so that people who are meant to connect are meant to connect. But there's this level of you purposefully being dragged. It wasn't all your fault because you weren't at fault. What makes this an illusion? Saturn was squaring Neptune in Pisces. So that's what made it unclear. That's why you had to be deceived. And I'm telling you this because certain things that didn't work, they're going to work now. Your life is going to flow so well. During this time, Jupiter was squaring Saturn, which was squaring Neptune. Now Jupiter is going to sextile Saturn, which is going to sextile Neptune. It had to come into form. Now it's aligning. It's super exciting, okay? And at the time, just like I felt I was messing up, you were actually fully aligning and doing what you're supposed to do. This is where I say, during this filler arc, everything that was meant to happen happened the way it was supposed to happen. Okay? Now, there's a double-edged sword to this, because now that we're back in the main filler arc, whatever you do moving forward has to be your best move. You were allowed to make mistakes in the filler arc because it didn't really exist. I mean, it's part of your past, but it was not really central to the plot of your life. So you could make mistakes unless they weren't necessarily too harsh that you can't recover from, which no one watching made any such mistakes. If you make those same mistakes in the main plot, that's going to actually hurt you. Now you can't make those same mistakes because we trained. All right. Now you could make decisions and get in relationships with people who really screw up your life. So you need to really pay attention to the wisdom that Saturn and Scorpio gave you and the insight that Saturn and Sagittarius gave you. Okay. This was a very tough chapter, but we're finally ready to come to the conclusion. Saturn in Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces is going to be the most incredible, extraordinary, divine transit we have ever known. It's going to feature 2020, where we have all that conjunction with Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn in Capricorn, which didn't happen since 82. I wasn't even born 80 81, 82, 83. Gnarly. So it's finna get lit. All right. Then Pluto's gonna go into Aquarius. Like it's a huge deal. It's a very huge deal. So that being said, you want to take this week to reevaluate everything that's happened ever since December of 2009 and ask yourself, what is it that you still believe? What is it that you want to move forward with? Who is it in your life that aligns with that? Because anyone in your life that doesn't align with that, you're drawing that boundary. You don't mess with them anymore. You're only moving forward. You're going up that mountain. You don't have time for distractions. You're going to really reevaluate this whole week. What's your reason? What's your why? And you do that with your vision. Ever since Sagittarius season, we harnessed our vision. And once again, I'm going to give you the technique to continue to do so. You doing so this week will also help facilitate great shifts in your awareness. And I'm going to pull the cards now for the signs. And then subsequently the super chat. Oh, snap. Cool. So, Aries moon, Aries rising. We have the strength card. And I want you to see these cards that I pull as less of predictions and more of what is the gift that this filler arc has given you. Well, Aries, the gift that this filler arc has given you, which you will experience this week, is you're much stronger than ever before. You know your inner strength, and you know that you can get through all the challenges you have to get through. This is going to release in you. You're going to really feel into the infinite nature of your power. So really harness that with courage, because you're going to have a lot of charisma to express through joy. It's actually a really fun card. Okay. Taurus moon, Taurus rising. What you're going to conclude through this filler arc is with the 7 of Cups, you're going to finally move past this fog, and the fog is going to clear. A lot of this was brought through this 8th house transit through Saturn and Capricorn, or Saturn and Sagittarius. And the 7 of Cups is going to really speak of this mastery of altered states, to where you're able to understand the full crystallization of your creative visualizations. All right. Gemini moon, the Gemini rising. We have the 4 of Wands. So you're going to conclude this filler arc with a party. And this is also the card of celebrating accomplishments and reunions. So looks like everything that's supposed to come into place is going to really come into place. This is the gift where you really step into that next chapter, but very positively. Okay. And damn, we got screwed up these past few years. Jeez. Neptune square, Saturn opposition, Jupiter square, Cancer moon, Cancer rising. Cancer, honestly, you had it worse. You got the Pluto opposition, and then Saturn was squaring you for a minute. So I can't complain. Uranus is still squaring you. So we have the Death. This cosmic arc filler is going to conclude with a complete transformation. So whereas everyone else is going to feel this merge and blend, where certain facets of their filler are going to move away and then they step in, yours is just going to be, because Pluto, think about it, Pluto's opposite you, and we're going to go to Cap. So anything that's part of your filler is just going to die. And that's how you'll know if it's filler. They're just going to whoosh. Cancer, certain people aren't even going to talk to you anymore. It's like, hey, what's up, Cancer? All right, bye. Filler's over. So abrupt. All right. And you're just going to transform. Sacred alchemy. All right. Leo moon, Leo rising. The card that we have for you is the Eight of Cups. And this makes a lot of sense. Leo, you, I feel, were one of the people so immersed into your filler world. And you're out of the main. It's so interesting, Leo. In this main central plot, you're the main character. You're like the lead role main character. So you're having to this week walk away from all the filler. And I think that some of you wanted to make some of this filler. Some of you connected with some filler people who are near and dear with your heart, but you know they're just not on your path and you have to walk away. So it's not going to be happy for some of you, but you're finally going to go on that spirit quest. So it's ultimately positive. Virgo moon, Virgo rising. Similar to Cancer, we have the Death card. So Virgo, I'm starting to see as a reaper, where they assist people in death, and you're going to be making important cuts. But the gift of this is a total transformation, where you're really in a position to come to terms. And the moon is in your sign right now, and so it's going to just help you really shed that final layer of your onion. Okay. Shout out to Taurus. Shout out to Taurus. You know, when you're thinking about food you're about to eat, and then your heart just starts to get happy, like, oh, yes, I'm about to eat some food. All right. Libra moon, Libra rising. So I want to make sure I get this right. The King of Wands, Libra, I'm personally seeing as an individual. So, yes. All right, Libra. This King of Wands for you is representing your gift. It's going to be someone who is your passionate equivalent. It's like they're the fire to your air. Okay. Whereas for Virgo, anything that's getting in the way of their major arc is just going to fade away and die. This is going to be the presence of someone who's a go-getter but passionate and a king in their field, who you're going to step into the next arc with. Okay, it's a Leo male, but it could be an Aries or a Sag, or it even could be a Capricorn who just has a lot of Leo in their chart. All right, so definitely keep that in mind. Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. I'm starting to feel really happy. If you're starting to feel a happiness bud, it's because we're stepping into our future life. All right. We're stepping into the life we're meant to live. Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. The same card as Aries. We have the Strength. So Aries, this is a more psychological strength. Scorpio, this is a more supernatural strength. And it really has a lot to do with awakening to the infinite potential that you have. And your gift is you're really going to tap into it, where it's like, I finally mastered my powers just in time to step through that door and show these mofos who's really ruler. Okay. Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius moon, clear eyes, there for blah, 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 blah. All right. We have the Sagittarius card. The gift for you, Sagittarius, is your life is finally going to be in order, and you don't have to be such a hot mess anymore. And you're finally going to be in a position to put things in greater moderation. Archangel Michael here in the middle way is promising that everything that was implemented into your life will now be balanced in a way where, thankfully, things aren't just like, I feel like for you, Sagittarius, like you were putting certain things in your life and then Saturn would just like disrupted, and then it's just like, oh my God. And then you just like, you gain more strength by putting the pieces back together, and then you have to go through there and boom, oh my God. And then it's just like, oh, and then you started going crazy because of that Neptune square. And then it's just like, if this goes apart one more time, and then Saturn's going to go into Capricorn, and like, oh, it's balanced now. All right. So definitely dope. Capricorn, Capricorn moon, Capricorn rising. All right, never mind. The gift that we have for you, Capricorn, you're going to gain your nostalgia back. You're going to get that heavenly feeling when you connect with the true soulmate. So for you single Capricorns, this week you're going to have a soulmate encounter. Would you look at that? This soulmate encounter is talking about connecting with the soulmate who established themselves in the cosmic filler arc, but now they're going to reestablish and be like, oh. But for those of you in existing relationships, this is talking about connecting with your partner in a way that restores that innocence to where you can actually, you know, connect again in a more pure way. And some of you Capricorns outside of anything romantic will really, what this is going to do for you is it's going to take something that you felt pain in your childhood, and it's going to heal it. And you're going to really transcend a childhood lesson. All right. To where it's not a bad memory anymore. It's a good memory that empowers you. Aquarius, Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising. So interesting. Libra got a king, and Aquarius gets a king. Aquarius, we have the King of Cups for you. This could be a Cancer. This is the Scorpio man, but it could also be a Pisces. No, it's not a Pisces, but it's definitely speaking of, wow. It's definitely speaking of you having to deal with someone who's deep. And I do have the Page of Cups. So, no matter what might have happened with you and this King of Cups, there are going to be new feelings here. I think you're going to squash anything or develop something. This is definitely going to be who you're walking into this new arc with. And yeah, what this person will do is help you gain wisdom out of the astral stuff you channel. And it's going to be a very solid connection. And I get the sense this is someone you already know, but the Page of Cups always indicates someone new. So I think that's why I put that. But regardless of new or not, Pisces, regardless of new or not, this is going to be a central figure who will be important to your life, that will establish himself. Well, listen, it's a him. In both cases, for Libra and Aquarius, it's a him this week. Pisces, Pisces moon, Pisces rising. We have another dude, except for you, Pisces. This is a Sagittarius who's going to run right back into your life, and they're just going to be like, look here, yo, we're doing the damn thing. They're going to just run into your life, pick you up. You know how Sagittarius will just run and then just like scoop you with them. This doesn't have to be a Sag, though. This is just the establishment, an encounter with someone who's on your level, but just more passionate than you. And you might work with them. All right. Actually, for some of you Pisces, this is going to indicate the changing of residence. This is indicating movement for you, but I get the sense that the Knight of Wands is an actual individual, someone who's, you know, really passionate, but also a bit ditzy and will slide all the way in your DM and your pants. For some of you Pisces ladies, this is a Sag dude who's just going to come out of nowhere. As soon as you're just minding your business, before you know it, their hand is around your shoulder and you're just like talking for minutes, like how. So anyway, yeah, that'll be interesting. I think this is going to add a passionate spark to the next arc for you. And yeah, the card that I have for everybody is the Hangman. So the Hangman is saying, despite what it is you've experienced, you want to really forget everything you know. Anything that's true will come back as a truth, but release everything. Surrender this old filler arc. Surrender the pain specifically. You don't have to walk into this new arc with any pain that you developed since 2010. You are allowed to let it go. All right. When you let it go, you may feel like it's not, but that's why this is the hangman. This mofo is being hanged. All right. The next card after this is death. So it's over. It's over. You need to surrender. And we have the world, a natural conclusion. So congratulations. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. I think this was a more cool horoscope. Now I'm going to do the Mars and Scorpio ritual. Let's see what card we get. We do have the Strength card. So this will definitely evoke psychic ability. Now, the way this works is super simple. All you have to do is express desire. Remember, this aspect of desire, especially in Scorpio, is fixed. So you just need to focus your desire internally on what it is that gets you super amped. And not even amped, but really feel into that desire. Some of you, like me, have Moon in Capricorn, so you may not be able to feel it that deeply, but just as long as the intent is there, even if it's faint, all you have to do is just keep it. Scorpio moons, Mars and Scorpio, this is going to be so easy for you because you naturally do this already. It's desire, all right? So all you have to do is just maintain that desire until you get what you want. Do this all of Mars and Scorpio. And for me, what I'm going to personally do this for is to help with my energy. Because if I focus my desire, this is like flexing a muscle. And if you do this whole Mars and Scorpio transit, Mars and Scorpio will help you focus your pure intent. So I'm not really doing it to necessarily get anything, but I know after this, I'll be able to focus my attention to where I can feel desire at all times. Because what's going to happen is something may take away your attention. And it's like, oh, you're no longer desiring it. But you want to pay attention. Now, as you can see, this is an add-on. Ooh, we got the 10 of Pentacles. For those of you wanting to manifest money, if you keep your desire on that, a transit like this will manifest it greatly, or wealth. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to focus on a specific desire as far as just feeling desire. If you can just evoke the state of desire, fixing it onto something will help focus it, but you really want to just focus on desire. And then picture, and now since it's in Scorpio, we're not desiring egalitarian things like when it's in Libra. What is it that gets you dark and horny? For me, it's cheeseburgers on a Sunday night. That just gets me wet. All right, all on my neck. I start to just salivate like, and you know, I might pop one. I'm just joking. But what is it? I have to speak on it like that because Jupiter is here and it's going to expand the level of how deeply you can tap into this desire. So now, that's just one aspect of this. What we want to do is also incorporate the polarity of, you know what I'm saying, how you take in this energy. And I'm talking about dark and dirty too. All right. I'm talking about dark and dirty horniness. When I know I'm gonna eat some bad junk food. Ooh, I'm gonna eat some McDonald's. That's so unhealthy for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get some chicken nuggets. It's just that kind of desire that's taboo. You know what I mean? Like, I know this is so bad for me, but it's so good. You want to evoke desire. Now, there is a pure level of this desire where in true to Scorpio, you won't be desiring anything that's impure. like McDonald's. So for you more responsible people who practice veganism, you may desire something more clean. All right. It doesn't necessarily, whether you're on one side or the other, okay, like you're gonna understand. All right. And you really want to, like, once again focus on this. There's the yin and the yang, and we're going to incorporate this. This is my gift to you. So you can take this and use anytime you want. It applies in almost every situation. Susie Segura said, lust turns into love if your intentions are pure. So beautifully said. All right. So once again, you want to incorporate the drawing in of energy. So first of all, I want you to look at something that is next to you. What's the thing nearest to you, or bring something? And I want you to try and pull it in with your own willpower and intent. There's a water bottle next to me. So feel your energy reaching out and grabbing it, right? What is that sensation? You want to train yourself to feel that sensation, okay? And let me see. There we go. You want to take as long as you can to feel that sensation, as this is what you're going to use to really draw energy within yourself. So the expression of your desire is a manifestation of your yang, and this will use energy. And sometimes you can deplete energy. So you want to alternate between drawing in energy and moving out. So when it comes to drawing it in, you want to gain mindfulness while still maintaining diaphragmatic breath. So first, we're going to initiate this practice by the main other ritual and technique, which we can call star crafting or star manifestation. If anything, I have homework for you. I'm going to give you this technique. I want you to come up with your own personal name for it, a name that's meaningful for you, so that you can say it before you do it, and it'll add power. So the first part of this, I've been giving you bits and pieces, so I'm going to put it all together. And your homework is to come up, first of all, I want you, after I give you these pieces, to add 2 more elements that you make up. So your first homework, I'm going to introduce you to 3 concepts, which represent the yin of drawing stuff in and being receptive, the yang of the out, and then the void. Okay, so after I give you these 3, I want you to add 2 personal things you do, and then create a name for what this practice is called that's personal to you. Okay, so the 2 things you add, maybe in the beginning or end, will personalize it so it gives this practice a purpose. All right. That being said, the first part of how you want to activate this is to activate the breath of life. And this is why you always want your vision or imagination. But even if you don't have any specific vision, the main purpose is to breathe in. You can breathe in negativity or positivity, but breathe in satisfaction, whether you're bringing in or alchemizing negativity around you or positivity or both. You're breathing that in as satisfaction. And then you're breathing it out as gratitude. So let's do that for like 5 breaths. You want to breathe this down to your root chakra. So get all your chakras activated through this breath and breathe it in, because your body is the temple which will receive this manifestation. And just like Lisa said, lust has its place. lust isn't pure, but lust can be purified, and feelings that are starting off as lust with pure intentions can be refined to a pure love. Okay. So breathe in. Three is the magic number. So if you want to activate it, just take 3 deep breaths and gratitudes. Anything you add up on it will stack itself. Okay. So you could either breathe in the feeling. Now, if you want to add on to this, you can really, what you're breathing in is the focus, Sagittarius, your vision. What are you focused on? What is the finish line? Breathe that in as if you're bringing it, and then breathe out gratitude as you're breathing. You're literally breathing this vibration out into your reality, and you're grateful for it. And this really tests the focus of your willpower, because your willpower is how long you can maintain this. I apologize to you, Virgos. My lips are ashy as hell. This is uncalled for. Once again, this is horrible. All right. Anyway, once again, just like Roby said, because we're doing this together, this is going to amplify. So let's do 3 real quick. So you can just do a feeling, or you can see that, breathe it in as if it's a literal energy, an infinite energy that never ends, and you're breathing it out. This is as above, so below. So let's activate this. I need you to understand that since 2010, you've been detoured from achieving your dreams, and it's now you're back on stage to get it. So some of you, it's going to be hard to do this because your heart chakra will be blocked, because you feel like you can't achieve your dreams. And I'm channeling this from some of you. Some of you feel like you cannot achieve your wildest dreams because it just hasn't worked, or because you went through something since 2010. Honey, you need to let this go. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're stepping into a whole new world that you're going to achieve the impossible. So all of this is dependent on you literally believing that you can. It's the one element that will let you know that you can. You must believe. As within, so without. Like Avery Crane has so perfectly said, it's very important that you do not give up belief. Some of you feel hurt, and you have to grow up. I apologize for saying it this way, but I have to be stern because you're getting in your own way and nothing can stop you. So I don't care how wild this is. Some of you are going to shortchange yourself, because it's like Jupiter is asking, how much do you want? How much happiness do you want? And you tell Jupiter a conservative amount, like, well, I want to be just happy enough, because the last time I felt super happy, I got hurt, and I don't want to feel that again. And Jupiter will just make you happy enough where you can be happier than you've ever been, and it'll be Gucci. So it's okay, but let go of that pain. You can believe again. You can truly believe again, because you have the boundaries now. You're way wiser than you were. Saturn and Scorpio made us way wiser, and now Jupiter's there. So it's just going to be so much litter. Oh my God. I just heard a penalty noise go off because I said litter. But anyway, yeah. So maintain this breath indefinitely. And while you maintain this breath, I want you to now feel yourself drawing in energy. You can do a hand sign or a mudra if you want to facilitate its effects. And you can feel this energy representing at the first layer, any energy that you have dispersed, you're now bringing back in focus. And you want to feel it coming in your solar plexus chakra, like there's a ball right above your belly. Say your belly button, it's like right below there. and it's all accumulating in that ball. Just feel energy rapidly coming in there, and it's so condensed, it can take as much. Some of you, if you're in a very negative place, especially if you have water sign energy, you can just take in all that negative energy, especially being projected at you. It's okay. It's not going to hurt you because you're doing it with the intention to alchemize it. You can take it in. Your energy system is advanced. It's not like you're going to get sick. These are fear games we play so that we separate ourselves from each other. And once you do so, you'll find that the room is much lighter because you're not the only one absorbing energy if you're more in a room. So negativity now could be a source of fuel for you where you alchemize it. You just focus. You don't you instead of, because what happens when you walk through a large crowd, there's a huge energetic vibrational battle that can go through. And some of you feel depleted when you walk through large crowds and you wonder why. And there's so much that's happening that you may not be aware of. Here's a technique for you. As you draw in this energy more and more, you're going to feel tingly. And then what you want to do is you want to see some of this energy forming a tight wall around you, a circular wall or a tight wall, so that it traps the energy and nothing bad can come in. This is not the only way you can do it. This is just a mental construct so that when you walk through groups of people, you've drawn in energy that's now protecting you. You won't feel as drained. You might even have confidence. Now, and of course, this is just in an ideal situation. Sometimes there are advanced vampires who are going to be like, oh, look at this cute energy bubble that this guy created. Let me drain it just so he can know how real this is. All right. So it's not a foolproof, but it's going to help you. You're going to feel lighter, like Heidi said, and it's going to help you in like 70% of the time. All right. So, ooh, my hand just kind of moved the deck and I pulled the High Priestess. So trust your intuition. This is a message for someone right now. Yes, what you're intuiting is correct. Trust it, trust it, trust it. And you're feeling it, what you're feeling. Okay. But this goes for everyone too. So now that you're breathing this in, and you're drawing in, when you feel like you've drawn in as much energy as you need to, you're going to be alternating from drawing in to expressing, all right, at your discretion. So once you've drawn in the energy, and it's okay if you don't really feel a sensation at first, it's your repetition. See, anyone who doesn't really feel the energy is someone who doesn't practice this every day. And it's someone who has not necessarily allowed themselves to definitely kind of like gain the sensitivity. This is sensitivity you need to build. Not everyone is a water sign who just feels vibrations because their moon is in Pisces. Just like you need to like do weights. All right. Shout out to Yada. Like my body's starting to look a bit fit. Right. But I didn't have that strength before. I had to do grueling push-ups and movement training that, kind of made me catch an attitude because it's like, I can do I do it. But now I have much better strength. If you do this exercise every day, especially now that Mars is in Scorpio, doing this while Mars is in Scorpio is going to amplify the effects because Jupiter is there. So it's going to be like 3 months worth of training in a month. You do this for a solid month, you're going to feel the energy so much more. And you're going to build your sensitivity. So the High Priestess is saying, you may not feel anything now, but know that you drawing an energy with your mind is really drawing an energy. And now here's another calibration. Most of you have your moons in Capricorn or Aquarius or Pisces, you know what I'm saying? And even if it's in other moon signs, you have to remember the sensation you feel your energy on is not the sensation other people feel. So what might not be enough to you might be too much. In other words, you may feel like you're not drawing that much energy in, but you actually are. Because think about what you're drawing in. You're drawing this energy at a subatomic level. All right. So you're not really going to see it unless you have Virgo or Sagittarius energy, or you're not going to feel it as much until you've built your sensitivity. So don't feel you can kind of overload yourself where you feel like you're not doing enough because you're not sensing it Dragon Ball Z style. It's like, that once again takes time. Like certain seals have to be released. You have to know how to release gates in your chakra, which actually protect you. So just keep that in mind. Like, certain things that are not necessarily as strong to you could be really strong to someone else. And a lot of this comes through belief. This is an exercise of focus. So the Mars and Scorpio portion, after you've drawn in enough energy, I'm only saying this because some of you are so skilled at this. Some of you have Neptune or Uranus at 13 or 20 degrees in Capricorn or Sagittarius. So you're going to kind of you might make this harder than you have to. Some of you can do this so easy. And because it was so easy, you think you didn't do it right. And that's a Capricorn or Virgo trap. Like, you're not supposed to feel like it's hard. So you know you're doing it. A lot of this intuitive energy is really simple. It's like an iPhone that's intuitive. Like, it's going to know what you're about to do so you can work with your subconscious here, okay? So now you want to evoke that desire. All right, what is it that you truly desire? If some of you need to really evoke the feeling, think of sex. Just thinking of gratifying sex will evoke the authentic feelings of desire if it's hard for you to evoke it at first. Or food. Sometimes foods give me orgasm. So I'll just think of like a dripping hot junk food. I'm joking. But yeah, really evoke that desire. And what I want you to do is maintain that focus. This is not going to be easy. If you do this, my friends, go watch that Mars and Scorpio video again. If you do this, I promise you, you are going to intensify your focus to the point where you might actually start telekinetically moving things. It's not going to be easy for someone like me who has a sun in Gemini and all this focus that I'm telling you to do. I got to practice what I preach because literally, y'all, and the only planet I have in Gemini is the sun. That's how crazy mutable energy is. I thank God that I don't have any more mutable energy. Like, the only mutable sign energy that I have is sun in Gemini. And even then, it's so hard to focus. Like, after 2 minutes, I'm thinking like 50 different thoughts. So shout out to you fixed sign kings and queens who know how to focus. It's so amazing. And you want to intensify that focus and focus more and more and feel that desire raise. What's going to happen is you'll reach that point where you feel like you can't go anymore and you just have to keep on going, even if you don't feel it, but the intent is still there. Really go with this Mars and Scorpio. You can release once it's in Sagittarius, but that's a whole month. Whenever you feel this desire move out, focus back again. So my gift to you is to draw in the energy needed to focus on that desire. Some of you can draw in energy while you focus. Some people will teach that you want to either just draw in and then focus, which is wise because you don't want to disperse the energy, but really harness that focus and try and do it all day as you talk to people. Integrate it into everything you do. So each action is an expression of that desire fully working through, and it's a part of everything you do. All right. It's easy for me to tell you this, but not only is it so hard for me to focus, I have to remember, like, oh, snap. So I have my vices I have to work through. But yes, my friends, that's my gift to you. If you do this right, your body should already tingle. That's you feeling your aura. So you can build this, all right? And by purifying your intent. If you ever feel anxious, absorb that anxious energy and just do that breathing technique. I promise you it's going to help so well. All right? So and you don't have to focus or desire on one thing. So it's as simple as that too, my friends. Just desire it. You don't have to try and control or pull strings to get what you desire. Just desire it. And the vibrational match will show up. Just keep desiring it. Just keep desiring it, and it's fixed. Scorpio will never give up until it gets it. Taurus will never give up until it gets it. A Mars and Taurus, Mars and Scorpio will keep on going on. It will never let go. So you have to keep intense, all right? And really, this is actually going to build a lot of your power very powerfully, okay? So yeah, just to reiterate, the first step is to activate your breath, breathe in satisfaction, breathe out gratitude. The second step is to draw in energy from all around you so you can build up power and focus. And then the third is to exude that out and feel that desire. Okay, just feel it. This is done so internally by feeling it and focusing on that. And you straight. That simple. And while you're focusing on it, you can still breathe it in and breathe out gratitude. That breathing exercise will be even better. Okay, so alchemization through breathing and transmutation is the bee's knees, and it's going to be great. It's going to be super great. All right. That being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Do the super chat. Let us all make a wish. All right. And I want you to make a personal wish to set this off for what you desire. And as you're making the personal wish, if you could raise your hands and kind of connect, visualize anything you can to connect with everyone else. And this is going to supercharge this. We've never really truly done this, but I want you to now feel and wish that everyone else's wishes come true. So we're now going to have like 350 plus people setting the intention that we manifest our desires. Okay. So you could either raise your hands or you can put your hands together and just focus. So I want you to connect as you breathe, make your personal wish, and then also wish that everyone else's intentions come true right now, as in they come true down or whenever the right time is. But because we have the power of numbers, this is Aquarius. So we can now start to manipulate the timing. So when you wish that they come true, wish that they come true now. Okay. And you'll see something amazing. And not just wish that they come true, wish that you see the awareness of it. All right. Because sometimes our wishes come true and we don't notice it until like a lunar cycle later. So let's tune in. Amen. All right. Once again, you need to embrace your intuition. During this cosmic filler arc, your vision was tied into an intuition of how things were supposed to be. And now you feel like maybe you were wrong. You weren't wrong. You're going to see your intuition come to fruition in full form because now we're stepping out the filler arc. The filler arc was just for inspiration. All right. Once again. So let's get to the super chat. Khalil Lewis, guidance pertaining to love and personal power. We have the Page of Swords. So you want to really keep up to date with anything you're currently learning and staying up to speed mentally. Meditation will definitely help, but you're going to be alerted to some news over the next week by someone who's going to really help you gain clarity so you make the right decisions. El Jacko 2, we have the Death card. The Death card is talking about great transformation as well as you actually being able to shift and shed that which you're not really moving forward into this new arc with. Wow. Claire Smith, we have the Page of Wands. I could feel the energy before I pulled it. So something really exciting is going to really happen to you. That's going to inspire you and just light fire within you. So congrats. Ein F, we have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is talking about you speaking your truth, but also you being inspired and gaining an important epiphany that's going to clear up so much and give you great victory. Ace of Swords is my favorite tarot card. Someone asked me that in a peace talk, but now I know it's the Ace of Swords. Aliana, well, I don't know. It's one of them. Aliana C, stay true to your truth. Thank you so much. We have the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords is saying, closing this up, you're going to confront all your negative thoughts and you're going to kick those negative thoughts ass. And this is going to reflect and manifest into someone who's a mirror of you. But whereas you're positive, they're showing you your insecurities, but they're there. So as you work on this person's mind and as you show them, no, you're okay, it's actually going to heal you inside. All right. Lilac Ocean 420. When am I leaving my hometown? We have the Five of Pentacles. So clearly financial issues seem to be one of what's keeping you there. Obviously, this is going to speak to a resolution of that. And whenever you're able to deal with that, but this is also Mercury and Taurus. So when I deal with timing of that, you want to look to May of 2018. Potato Dono. I'm so glad you enjoyed the analogy. We have the Strength card. Potato, this is saying that you carry a cosmic being within yourself. You carry someone who's animated in this life. Not everyone is animated. Some people never truly live. You're going to integrate this animation within you so that you can gain, it's basically speaking, your supernatural powers are awakened. So you want to really express more of that and solve problems with more of that and not just your mind. Miss Raw for show. We have the Eight of Cups. So it's saying you have to walk away from all of this. And it's cool because if you are Leo, this is the same card I got for Leo. It's like whoever you've been dealing with, you just kind of have to, like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to walk away from it. Can't really be remedied right now. And that's going to be the best thing for you as well. All right. Shannon, is the plot about to drop? Yup. And not only is the plot about to drop, remember how I was saying the two soulmates are going to reestablish themselves? The wonder team's going to come. The plot's going to begin with you with the initial stage of your manifestation ready to come into form and you connecting with key people who you're going to work with as a team. Nancy, who is coming back? We have the Strength card. So who's coming back? And I love this because you donated $8.88 and we got the 8 card. So this is really significant. What's coming back is your spark and your energy, the vigor that you had before that really made you passionate before this filler arc just depleted you. That's coming back. But this is also an important soulmate too. It could be a girlfriend of yours who's a Leo, but this is really meant to reflect the inner energy within you, your higher self in a lot of ways. If you felt less connected, she's coming back through your mind. Monique Muniz. We have the Hangman, and the Hangman is definitely speaking of you having to surrender and let go of certain themes and lessons that will actually lead into the manifestation of your desires and great celebration. So definitely just let go, you know what I'm saying? And it's less about letting go and more about surrendering, which just means letting things occur and letting things die its natural death. Yvonne Jones, you can do this though, Monique, by focusing on your passions to distract you while things shift. Yvonne Jones, yay, love and light. Interestingly enough, we have the Devil card, but it's coming together with the Page of Cups. So I don't sense that this is the whole bondage obsession thing. I think for you, Yvonne, it's saying that you want to, if you found yourself way too serious and you're working a lot more than kind of having fun. The devil card is saying you might want to party, Yvonne. You might want to actually have a really fun night where you kind of break some rules so that you kind of get back in that balance and flow. All right. Q, how will the plot drop for me? We have the sun, so the plot's going to drop with grand illumination and happiness, inspiring you, which is important because you're not going to start this plot off pissed. You're going to start off happy and motivated, which is great. Luna G, what's the universe's advice? The universe's advice is you have to kill anyone who gets in your way like a cold-hearted emperor, because you worked way too hard to set up what you set up, and you really just don't have any time now to like deal with anyone trying to waste your time. So it's better to kill them than to, be merciful. But it's also saying prepare for this transformation. The reason why you feel like certain things are dying is because you're shedding into new skin. Audrey, thank you very much for the donation. I have the star card for you. So your superstar energy and power is going to manifest. I got it with the Page of Cups. So it's also talking about meeting someone new who's like super famous or very popular. But you're this star, Audrey. So really enjoy as your wildest dreams come true, and you just need to focus that, okay? Lily 626, we have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is saying, the Four of Wands is saying congratulations. You are going to celebrate a lot of your accomplishments, and it's going to be very positive. All right. So a card like this, just enjoy as it comes in. Daniele, thank you for the donation. Daniele, we have the Two of Swords. This is saying that you need to make decisions that are more mentally focused instead of emotionally ruled, because you're very indecisive, and take whatever time out you need to really sort through your thoughts. This is a temporary period, so it's not going to last forever. Okay, and don't feel like you have to answer anything before you download this. All right. So, Katrina Brown, we have the Queen of Cups, and this is once again indicating you have grown so much. What this arc has allowed you to learn is how deep your feelings can go. Everything you went through, and sometimes you have to go through like certain love and heartbreaks just so that you can know how deep your feelings can go. And it's also saying you've bossed up. So this is gonna, I get these three cards are for you. So you're walking into this arc a full-blown queen diva, and you're ready to really show your divine feminine. Okay, Nika, who are my spirit guides? We have the Three of Wands. So your spirit guides are more fire. It's a Sun and Aries card, but I get your spirit guides are primordial forces who influence you to map out your next steps. In other words, your spirit guides are going to guide you along your future. This is the card of like long-term planning, and any such influences, maybe in the form of people or ideas that try and point you forward, they're going to be the force of your spirit guides, which interestingly enough, you may find personally for you, dark forces try to counteract them by getting you to focus on the past. So anything that tries to get you on the past negatively, Nika, that's actually a dark force, because your spirit guides are going to have you focused more on the present and your future plans. And they're also going to help you kind of, get that in order. All right. Danielle Love, the card that I have for you is the Hermit. The Hermit card is speaking of you having to trust in your own inner wisdom. You're not necessarily coming into you're not getting the right information about your intuitions from other people. So you're not crazy because you're actually picking up on great wisdom. You just have to trust on what you get on the inside. And that's the main message I get for you, because you're developing your own magical energy that doesn't have to make sense to others yet. All right. Rose, soulmate relationship, have to decide to let go or stay. The Four of Wands is, first of all, outside of that, really, what does your heart say? The reason why you ask that is I think you want to stay. Because if you really wanted to let go, you really wouldn't care. Well, you would. But the Four of Wands, I'm seeing celebration, but it may not be with the same soulmate. You're gonna be happy though. So trust your heart on this one. But this is saying you might end up staying, because if it was negative, it's going to really get positive, Rose. All right. Parita Patel, thank you for the donation. We have the Devil card. The Devil card for you, I'm getting the sense, is the upside down Devil card. So this filler arc, you had to battle hard with your own shadow, and congratulations, you're born again now. This is you finally transcending those shadow issues once and for all, and making that your slave instead of it making you its slave. Quantum vibes. What's my connection to Hathor and Dendera Temple? Interestingly enough, I'm going to pull another card. We have the Five of Pentacles, but the other card that I have is the Three of Wands. So I'm going to channel more of this. Your connection to Hathor and Dendera Temple was you were like the way shower. There are certain people, I get the sense with temples like that, it people who were of nobility or richer, they had free access, but you had to find the chosen ones who probably came from the slums or who probably didn't know their way to that temple, and you were like a spirit guide who helped guide them there. It's almost like in Doctor Strange. If you remember, if you saw Doctor Strange, there was that one guy who was able to guide Doctor Strange to that temple. That's kind of what I saw you in. Like you're someone who brings in someone to deeper mysteries, whereas not everyone else knows. Only you can be you. Which is filler, Gemini or Sagittarius? I'm not necessarily sure if you're speaking of which individual. If you're speaking mainly just zodiac signs, neither is filler or not. But if you're speaking of a Gemini person or a Sagittarius person, the cards, I don't get the sense that either of them are filler or main arc. But we do have the Ace of Wands, and what this is saying more is there's going to be a passionate spark of energy that's going to excite you very passionately. The Ace of Wands is also one of my favorite cards because it's something that just genuinely at a heart level makes you exhilarated, and it's going to be an internal power you can spark anything with. It's an ace. It's like a wild card. Sean G. Sean G, we have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is saying, prepareth your cup because you are about to catch feelings, but these are cool feelings that are actually conducive and won't slow you down. Someone could open up their feelings for you, but there's a new emotional situation that's going to lead into great celebration. Goddess Adorned. Thank you for the donation. We have celebration. We have wanton happiness and a lot of serendipity your way. And Goddess Adorned, this is all celebration. That'll be a bit low key. Not a lot of people will know about this, but it's all stuff you worked for. It's a lot of your manifestations coming into fruition. Rocio Culia, thank you for the donation. We have the Death card. The Death card is encouraging you to be peaceful with the transformations and endings that are occurring this week for you, okay? So that you're in more of a position to embrace it. Joseph Fay. Joseph Fay, we have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is speaking of you having to walk away from anything in your life that might be holding you back. And this is just going to happen naturally. You're going to find that you move on to the next chapter as you walk away from older influences. All right. Mary Jane 1340, you are totally ascending. You're losing your old mind, your lower mind, in order to gain your higher mind. Okay. And we have the Eight of Wands, which is Mercury and Sag, the higher mind. And it's talking about things moving really quick as you adjust to these ascension symptoms. So allow for a swift move of events to put everything in place for you. Okay. Jules Kane, can I trust this specific door? Hell yes. And you want this movement to kind of inspire you with greater inspiration. So the more passion you bring into it, the better. Shasha, the card that I have for you is the Fool. The Fool card is saying you need to embrace a certain new phase of your life with an open mind. And you need to walk away from certain traditions. This is kind of saying you may be doing things that aren't not the way people usually do things, but embrace this new adventure. And once again, enjoy the new phase. There are going to be unexpected opportunities that you get blessed with to inspire you. Eliana, we have the Emperor card, and this is going to provide a lot of stabilization through discipline and rigidity, but it's going to give you a lot much greater control in your life in a positive way. Scorpio Queen, we have the 10 of Cups. So when it comes to finances and the job or work you do, you're going to just have so much happiness in it. It's not the 10 of Pentacles that's saying you're going to be a billionaire, and not even that says that, but the 10 of Cups is definitely saying that you're going to reach a peak max emotional state when you see the money that's coming in. But 10 of Cups really speaks more of the flow of how what you're doing is all happy. It's really good. It's actually really good. It speaks to you loving what you do for finances, and you're going to have a lot to enjoy. Alfreda Nwosu, manifest my grad program. We have the Temperance. The Temperance card, of course, is speaking to you being in a position to once again balance. So you will manifest this grad program. This is the card of self-control and good management. The more you incorporate that, everything will be a-okay, and this influence will assist you so that you can do more of such. Lisa Clay, we have the Emperor. So this is speaking of great foundation and control being brought into your life, which will implement a little bit of some rigidity, but it's going to give you a lot more authority and order. Aretha Franklin, will he reach out to me? Or should I reach out? Good question. We have the Four of Wands and the 10 of Cups. I feel like I had to pull both of that out. So I have a Mars in Aries. I never believe that you should ever wait for someone to reach out unless maybe you've like sent them 80 messages in a row. You know what I'm saying? Then they probably won't. But regardless, you should reach out. I feel like if you do, it'll be a positive conclusion anyway. I wouldn't necessarily wait to reach out, but we do have very positive cards for you. All right. So whether you do or they do should be great. Rainbow, what does the first 3 months of 2018 have in store for me and my twin? We have the Knight of Wands, movement. All right. If you're not really changing residence, it's going to really incorporate a lot of short distance travel that's going to inspire you with passion and a lot of ideas moving forward so that you can definitely evoke stronger fire. What's my karma with the Scorpio guy? The Hierophant is saying that there's certain lessons that you both have to teach each other. And the karma with your Scorpio guy involves heavy philosophical issues that incorporate the status quo and fitting in with society. One, him, you, or both of you may have issues as far as aligning with that. and you're both, it's like you're going to kind of help one or both of each other integrate at a much better level. It's probably you helping him do so. King John, Juju on the card. Sup with me. We have the Lovers card, King John. You know what's good. All right. I think you got some ladies giving you the side eye and trying to get some, get some. So, King John, we know you got the swag, and it's saying throw it in the bag. No, I don't know why I get so corny with you. I'm so sorry, King John. The Lovers card is saying really enjoy the positive opportunities for love. It's going to be a choice you make. So if you choose it's going to be positive for you, I would have fun with it. There's going to be a lot of love juju, if you feel me on that. Okay. One card wanted to fall out. Was he just part of the filler? Asked Whitney Burrison. So yes, first of all, you'll know if he's part of the filler. That's a really good question, by the way. For any one of y'all who want to know if someone's part of your filler or not, you'll know because they're not aligned at all with any of your goals. If anything, they're kind of just there. Those who are aligned with your main core, they're doing stuff, or they're invested in what you do. So we have the Death. So that might mean no. Death card either means he's just part of the filler, or for him to not be a part of the filler, he would have to transform everything he's doing. So yeah, this probably lets me know he was just part of the filler. But you'll know, because if he's not, he won't be recognizable. Like, he'll completely transform. King John, Shadow Hunters. Shadow Hunters, we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is speaking of you integrating a lot of your understanding in a way that opens up a greater level of knowledge, but also fitting in with society. So my Hierophant knowledge is not that good, because there's more to this card than that. But be very mindful about how certain conventional ideas you learn to integrate actually help you, instead of make you feel like you're under a rigid influence. Beckstar 2001, we have the Fool. So this came out. We have the Fool, and I think what this means is there's a brand new exciting relationship that's going to bless you, okay? I'm going to just do these two cards. But yeah, you want to have an open mind too, because it may not be what you're used to, but it's still going to be positive. Pazia Woods, the card we have for you is the Hangman. Really embrace a healthy amount of surrender. The message here is make peace with uncertainty. Even if you're not sure what's going on, allow things to just let go and reach its inevitable end, and focus on what you love, so that you can gain you could just spend your energy elsewhere. All right. Azuri, we have the 8 of Wands. Congrats on your birthday in 2 days. You're definitely going to find that a whole lot of this energy moves really, really, really quickly. Okay. And allows you at a much better level to open up things to move once again very, very quickly, and shift events in a swift fashion. Eva, thank you again for the donation. I only pull one card for each person, so I don't necessarily do repeats. But just to answer your question, the Page of Cups does say yes. You can probably date if you open up. So tell the Scorpio how you feel and make a move. All right. So thank you guys once again. I hope you enjoyed the final week of filler before things get super serious. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.